just want to remind people that, years ago, maybe 10 years ago, you didn't know about chia seed or matcha or kiwa or collagen powder until someone told you about it. But those were all things that have been used indigenously for thousands of years. Algae may be new to you, but I promise you it's not new. There is nothing in the world that will change and rock your life and your health and your family's health like algae. It's time that algae gets used and understood. We are desperate for the nutrition. We cannot sustain the kind of sickness that's in our society right now. And I invite you to look at the more natural ways that are always available from nature.
In today's busy world, how can we find the inspiration, knowledge, and energy to live a healthy and empowered life? If we balance and harmonize our mind, exercise our body, live according to the laws of nature, and connect to spirit, can we find a way to heal, become our authentic self, and live our purpose with love? I am your hostess, Amy Fournier, and welcome back to Awakening Aphrodite.
Welcome back to Awakening Aphrodite with Amy Fournier. This show is about helping you to be healthy and fit in mind, body, and spirit, as well as harmonize your masculine and feminine energy, tap into your intuition, your true source of power, and awaken your authentic self. Question: are you eating your vegetables? Do you have that ringing in your ear growing up since childhood? Well, we probably all do. Well, what if I told you that something the size of about a baby aspirin or like a Tic Tac could have just as much nutrition as a whole plate of vegetables? That's right. And what if that very little nugget of nutrition had only 1 calorie and it was vegan and keto and super good for you and super convenient? Well, guess what? You know I love bringing you the good news and helping bring practical solutions for your busy life. And I've got it for you today. I brought a friend of mine who I haven't seen in a while. I actually met her about, God, I can't even believe I'm going to say this, but it's about 15 years ago. It's like, I swear, it feels like yesterday. My guest today is Catharine Arnston. I met Catharine because she was a student in my Zumba class years ago when I was teaching in Boston, Mass, downtown at this super cool and fancy Sport Club LA. She was in the front row on the right, and I just loved to have her in class because she had great energy. And lo and behold, she ended up founding her own company. And, well, the rest is history, as they say. So we reconnected because I've been taking her product, which is this beautiful algae tablet, for years. And I've been wanting to have her on the show to share with you because you know I love providing you with practical solutions to be healthy and fit inside and out. And finally, I got Catharine on the show. And I want you to learn about algae because it might be new to you, but it's not new to most of the world. In fact, it's a multi-billion, with a B, billion-dollar agricultural crop in Asia. And it's been used daily there for 50 years. It's actually even endorsed by NASA, and it's one of the most nutrient-dense foods in the world. Yes, in the world. And Catharine has done all the heavy lifting for us. She put it together, the highest quality, because you know not all things are made the same. You can get algae probably at CVS these days or Costco, and that doesn't mean it's good for you. But this one, trust me, I vet everything that I share with you, and I use it all myself. And this is the real deal. This stuff's the bomb. And it will, gosh, she's got 2 different ones. She's got the spirulina and the Chlorella. They help to build the collagen, which helps your skin, helps prevent wrinkles. It helps satisfy hunger. It also helps your immune system, helps you detoxify, can give you energy. And remember, this is only 1 calorie. This is like a major superfood that us in America really need to learn more about. So I'm thrilled to bring my friend Catharine Arnston on the show because she's an expert on algae. And she's also a wellness thought leader and just basically an entrepreneur. She's an ass kicker, let me tell you. And what I love about Catharine's story is, now get this, it didn't come easy for her, okay? I love sharing stories with you about the lives of inspiring people, and especially inspiring women, and how they've overcome personal and professional struggles and fears and persevered, and how they did it and what their secrets are and how we can learn from their mindset. Catharine is the perfect example of that. She didn't give up in spite of all the other people in the world saying that, this is never going to work. You're crazy. How are you going to do that? And she just persevered. Why? Because she heard this still small voice inside her. And then she took action. She took action and she kept taking action. And she was driven and she was committed. And let me tell you something. She was even on Shark Tank. We talk about that on the show. And she had a tough time on there, but she persevered. And now, after like 15 years of going at it, she's finally starting to come on the other end of it. And it's finally starting to catch on. And I couldn't be more thrilled for my friend because, wow, that's called resilience and perseverance. And I know she's going to inspire you. She's a powerhouse of nutrition and intelligence and inspiration. She's going to fill your ears why algae is fantastic, why I eat it almost every day, pretty much yes, every day, and why I even give it to my puppies, Nico and Penelope, because it's a superfood and it's convenient, and I always have a little tin of them, a tin of the little tablets in my purse. So we're going to get all into that today. I can't wait to share the episode with you. And the best news of all is if you want to try it for yourself, make sure you use my coupon code so you can save some cash. Okay? My coupon code is AMYF, A-M-Y-F as in Fournier or Fox or however you want to think of it. Fantastic, fabulous, any of those Fs. And you can use that coupon code to save 20% on your purchases. You're going to love it. The Chlorella is my favorite, but I have all of them and I rotate them all, and I can't wait to see what you think. So if you forget, don't worry, it'll be in the show notes. It's also on my website where you can check out all my products for that matter, all my favorite stuff. It's a great way to support me and for you to save a couple bucks. So check out everything while you're there. Thank you so much. I just love being with you. I'm excited to share my friend Catharine with you. And if you want to support me, subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a friend. All right, enjoy the show. Catharine, my friend, it's been a long time. I mean, okay, as I said in the introduction, we met years ago, and you might be able to tell me how many years.
Oh,
Back
man.
in Boston, Mass.
12, 15.
Come on.
Oh, yeah.
Has it been that long?
Sure, because I've been a member of that club for at least 12 or 13 years, and that's where we met. So,
are you still a member there? Oh my gosh. So it's still there. So Sport Club LA in Boston, Massachusetts. Now Equinox, I would drive in once a week to teach Zumba back in the day. Jesus, 10. It was, and you were the highlight on my right. You were in that spot. Yep. On the right. And I really liked it because I could feel your energy, which gave me energy as the instructor. You're powered by bits. What can we say, right?
yeah. But
And
gosh,
then I would hit you up.
Yeah, I haven't seen you in 6, 7 years, right? I know, it's terrible. I love you.
It's got to be at least that long, And then we reconnected. You had your hip replacement surgery, and we reconnected briefly. And then, I ran out of my bits. I had to contact your company and be like, hey, I need to place an order. I was having some trouble. One thing led to another.
And here I am.
Yeah, got reconnected with you. And I'm like, why have I not had you on my show? This is crazy. Your product has been on my e-store, my website store forever, since back then.
Oh my gosh. That's
yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah. Well, we've come a long way since then, let me tell you.
You sure have. And I want to get into your journey. So my goal here today is to help share with the audience a beautiful education. As you know, my show is about holistic health and wellness. We talk about everything mind, body, spirit, which is a broad brush, but I'd love to get into your nutrition knowledge, and then particularly why you're so excited and on board with the algae thing, as I am too, why that's a wonderful source of nutrition, and then help educate people about that. But I also want to get into your story
as you, because as a woman, Awakening Aphrodite, this show is about helping. We have mostly a female audience, not all, but mostly.
Yeah.
And, women, you're a successful businesswoman. How are you doing it all? Because we're struggling with the work-life balance and dealing with rejection and putting it out there and believing in a dream. And so I want to tap into your resilience. And if you can share any pearls with us. So
Sure.
should we start with just your journey? What got you into algae? Because you had a
Sure.
corporate job before
Yes, and so we're, for people who aren't familiar with algae, we're talking about spirulina and chlorella, and we'll get into some deeper dives about what they do for you and why everyone in the world needs to be taking them. I mean, I'm serious. We need to be taking them every single day for the rest of our lives, and you'll hear why, and it could save our lives, quite honestly. But going back to how does someone become an algae expert? I call myself queen, the queen of algae. And it's not just that stringy stuff that washes up on shore. Ours is actually harvested as a crop. But so it all started 15 years ago. I was minding my own business. I had a corporate career, as you know, and my younger sister in Canada, because I'm actually Canadian. I live in Boston. I've been here 33 years, but I have two sisters. All my family's still in Canada, and I'm very close to my two sisters. And the younger one developed breast cancer 15 years ago. First of all, I want everyone to know that she completely healed, and we celebrate her being cancer-free every year now. But 15 years ago, she was preparing for her chemotherapy, and her oncologist, which is a cancer specialist, told her she needed to change her diet to an alkaline diet because it would help with her healing. Now, I think she benefited from this advice because it was Canada, and the pharmaceutical industry doesn't quite have the stronghold that on the medical profession that it does here, because medicine is nationalized. And also her oncologist was a woman, and women just are a little bit more open to nutrition than your average MD. But she didn't tell her why it was important or what it was. So my sister got home, first call she made was to me. Not that I knew anything about nutrition because I was doing international economic development, but I love my sister and I'm a very good researcher. Turns out I'm a bit of a science geek, but I said, I have no idea what this is, but I will find out. And I did. And an alkaline diet was basically a plant-based diet because of the phytonutrients and the chlorophyll that have been proven to build your immune system. And she wanted her to have a strong immune system as she was going through chemo. By the way, there's a scientist in the 40s, a German scientist by the name of Otto Warburg, who won a Nobel Prize for discovering that cancer cannot exist in an alkaline cell. So your cell, there's a range of 0 to 14, and cells need to be just slightly alkaline, 7.1, to keep cancer cells from growing. So that's basically, I think, why she wanted her to have a alkaline diet. So I did research, found what foods were acidic to cut out, which ones were alkaline to add. She did change her diet. She did go through chemo, and she completely healed. Now, in the process of helping her, I learned about plant-based nutrition. Now, it's hard to believe, but 15 years ago, nobody was talking about plant-based nutrition, not anybody. Now it's everywhere. So you can't imagine a world where it wasn't part of the conversation, but 15 years ago, it wasn't. So when I learned about plant-based nutrition, and I'm as Amy knows, I'm very passionate, action-oriented, problem-solving kind of gal, I thought, gosh, this is powerful stuff. Somebody should tell the rest of the world. And I thought, well, you know what? I'm going to try. I have no nutrition background whatsoever. I have no idea how I'm going to do it. But there was this little voice, we talked about this earlier, this little voice in the back of my mind said, do something, you can do something. And it made no sense whatsoever, but I thought, okay, little voice, I'm going to listen to you and I'm going to do something. So I quit my 25-year corporate career. I realized I needed some kind of education. So I enrolled myself in a school called the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, which was in New York. By the way, I found it through a certain serendipitous meeting of someone. I went to a Louise Hay conference in New York about finding your destiny. And while I was standing in the coffee lineup, I heard someone talk about this school, and it turned out to be the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. And the next day I literally enrolled. This is how the universe delivers to you. Once you put your commitment out there to make a change of yourself, for the world, stuff just shows up. So I enrolled the next day, I went to school, I graduated. It was a general overview of nutrition, nothing deep, but it gave me some kind of certification. And then I taught plant-based nutrition at corporations and hospitals for free, just to get people, because I knew what the science of what green nutrition would do for you. And this is what truly led me to algae, because I learned as I was talking to people about the importance of eating more vegetables, they all almost laughed at me. They said, hey, my mother's been trying to get me to eat vegetables since I was a kid. But the reality is people had too many obstacles. They're heavy to carry home from the grocery store. They take a long time to clean, a long time to cook, a long time to eat. Kids don't like them. Men don't like them. They go bad quickly. Some people get gas. So I saw the long list of things that were preventing people from getting the green nutrition that they needed. And because I'm a problem solving, not going to let the universe down kind of person, I thought, okay, I have to go back to the drawing board and find something that gives people the nutrition that they need without any work. Again, the little voice in the back of my mind said, you can do this, keep going, you can do this. Everything in my outer world said, you can't do this. Everyone who I knew said, you can't do this. But I chose to listen to my little voice. And I invite anyone who's listening to this to do that as well. By the way, your little voice will never scream at you. It will never have a tantrum. And you can only listen to it when you are quiet and when you are calm and when you aren't worried about your 1,000 things in your day. You just have to say, okay, I'm open to doing something different. Like, what is it that I need? So that's what because I was so determined to find a way to help people not have cancer or recover from cancer, as I'd helped my sister. So one thing led to another. I just did a deeper dive in anything I found for my sister, and nothing worked until I got to algae, because that's when I felt like Alice in Wonderland falling down the rabbit hole, because here's something I had never heard of before, just like you have probably never heard of before. And as I tell people wherever I go, algae isn't new. It's just new to you. And just like you didn't know about chia or quinoa or matcha or maybe meditation or brain health or 1,000 things, it's not new. It's just that no one's explained it to you. And algae is a multi-billion-dollar agricultural crop. First of all, algae is everywhere. It's in the oceans and lakes, the rivers, the streams, your aquarium, your swimming pool. But it's grown in Asia hydroponically as a vegetable crop. It's a vegetable. It's not even a supplement. And I have pictures of, it's a real food. I have pictures. I know people listening can't see this, but I have pictures, and you can Google online spirulina and chlorella farms, and
it just looks like a green pasture because it's a crop farm.
Yeah, it's just like broccoli or lettuce hydroponically. And then we're special because we grow it in triple filtered spring mountain water, and then we don't use high heat to dry it, so all the enzymes and nutrition are safe. But what I want to explain to you is that 99% of this algae, spirulina and chlorella, is grown in Asia, and 99% of it is consumed in Asia. You don't know about it because you don't ever see it. How would you know something about that you've never seen before? We have, corn and wheat, none of which are good crops. But in Asia, you can't go to school or go to work or go anywhere without driving by an algae farm. They're everywhere. So when I discovered that it was so prevalent and that they've been taking it every day in Asia, it's been endorsed by the United Nations as the answer to world hunger because it has the highest protein in the world. Spirulina has 64% protein. It's been endorsed by NASA for 50 years as the most nutrient-dense food in the world. I have a quote saying it has 1,000 times more nutrition than any other fruit or vegetable. It's scientifically proven. There's 100,000 studies documenting all the benefits. Some of them we'll talk about today. But so I don't make any of this stuff up. So I thought, this is crazy that people don't know about this. So I decided that because no one's explained what algae is, no one's made it safe or easy to understand. And so I designed all the packaging. And I forgot, the most important thing is these algae comes in tiny little tablets. They're about the size of a baby aspirin. Spirulina is a blue-green algae. Chlorella is a green algae. You can take one, we generally recommend, 10 at a time, but even if you only had one tablet, it has the same nutrition as an entire plate of vegetables. By the way, that one tablet has one ingredient, 1 calorie, 40 vitamins and minerals, 60% protein, highest chlorophyll in the world. antioxidants that you can't find anywhere else in the world. It is crazy what this stuff is. And if you can give it to your children, your pets, your grandparents, it's effortless. You can swallow 10 tablets in the morning, boom. You don't ever have to eat a vegetable again in your life if you don't want to. You'll get all the chlorophyll that you need. This is effortless nutrition, effortless green nutrition. And the things that it does is off the charts. It's all science-based, but no one's explained it to you. So that was 13 years ago. And I decided when I saw the science, I saw the international endorsements, I saw how effortless it made nutrition. And when you have proper nutrition, spirulina, as you're going to find out, gives you all the nourishment that you need, and chlorella gives you all the greens that you need and pulls out toxins. So spirulina is nourishing and energizing, and chlorella is cleansing and detoxing. Those two will change your world. And by the way, they're the most eco-friendly, sustainable crop in the world. And one day I hope to grow it here in America. But that's how I got on the algae train, because and by the way, it was the first life on Earth 4 billion years ago. There's nothing before algae. Earth was gas and water, no oxygen, no life. And I'm convinced there's something very spiritual about the very first life on Earth. So it's a gift to us that we need to receive.
We've got to consider that it's probably of an extremely high intelligence, Catherine, to your point, because how is it still survived? It's obviously proven to be extremely adaptable, which enabled it to survive over billions of years.
Yeah, and it's also what's called high vibrational food. Ours is particularly high because we don't use high heat to dry it. So it's a raw food. Spirulina is a live food. It's vegan, it's paleo, it's keto, it's safe for children. There's not a single person in the world that wouldn't benefit from spirulina or have a problem with it. It's the most effortless, concentrated food. I call it people's, not only their health, their nutrition insurance, their health insurance, but what I like the most is how effortless it is. Because in North America, we know that people want things that are fast and easy. That's why TikTok is so popular, videos are popular. And so it wasn't working to get people to eat more vegetables. Now, you don't even have to eat a vegetable if you don't want. As long as you're taking at least 5 or 10, you can have as many as you want. I have like 100 a day. NHL players have 75 spirulina before a game and 75 chlorella after a game. So anyways, it's pretty exciting to be able to give people something that's going to make a difference in their world without any work.
Okay, so you basically just summarized the whole thing from my introduction, because what one of the things I love the most is that you, and therefore your company, are solution based. We know that the health of the nation and pretty much the world is going down the tubes. People are not eating properly. There's more processed and fake foods than ever. People are so freaking confused over what to eat and who to believe. But I love that you mentioned how you had a small voice that you took action on. But so there's a couple things here that we need to pause to acknowledge.
Yes.
For the audience and for me, is that you listened to your small voice, or you heard your small voice, your intuition, but you took action. The Quaker saying, pray and move your feet. So there are those of us who can hear the message, like, okay, go to Louise Hay conference. Oh, wow, what do you know? Tomorrow there's a certification for nutrition. And there's your invitation. There's your opportunity. But Catherine, you didn't hesitate. You took action. You stepped into the doorway. You went forward. So let's just take a pause. And can you clarify, were there no moments of second guessing? Maybe I shouldn't. I mean,
horrible. I mean, I was
so
stressed, and I had no money. So in fact, not only did I have no money, I declared bankruptcy in this process. So, I mean, we're talking pretty serious. In my house, I was in foreclosure for 4 years. I thought I was going to be tossed out. I mean, the research has found that the greatest fear women have is ending up in a what do you call it, a home, or what do you call it, a shelter. That apparently is the biggest fear women have. Men have other fears, but women, it's that is the biggest fear that they have relating to money, that they'll end up in a shelter. And trust me, I had that fear as well. But when I learned about the science of what this stuff did and that it wasn't being explained to anyone, I felt such a responsibility. It's sort of like, if you see someone drowning in the water, do you jump in or not to save them? And
Yes.
But I will tell you, every step along the way, and it's only literally in the last year, and even now I'm not completely out of the fear category, but I manage it. I was like hanging on with dear life.
Wow.
So bad. So here's a couple examples. The stress was so bad, my face broke out in bloody splotches. Like I was literally bleeding from my skin because the stress, and I would go to the emergency and they said there's nothing they could do, but they put bandages on it because it scared people, because I was literally, so I had to talk myself off the ledge to, calm down. You wouldn't be doing this if the universe hadn't knocked on your door and you answered. So that was one example. Another time, for a year and a half, I couldn't move my neck. I couldn't move it from left to right at all. And I had to go to a pain clinic to get injections to slowly, I don't know what it was they gave me, but as I mentioned when we first chatted, I didn't even pay myself for the first 12 of the 13 years because I was, when you're a startup and you have no money and you've been on the edge, but so convinced that you have something that is so needed by the world and nobody else was doing it. I just thought, I can't let the universe down. I just can't. I would rather die in the process. And I really
You sound like me.
talked myself. I said, are you prepared to die for this? And because I thought the pharmaceutical companies are not going to be happy with me because I'm going to help people be so healthy. I'm going to have a target on my back. And I thought, you know what? I'm prepared to die because I want my life to be worth something. I decided I don't have children. I'm not married. And not that really should mean something, but I just felt this is the reason I'm here. I just know it.
This is your thing.
And the funny thing was, I kept sort of arguing with the universe, find somebody with a science background. I had no science background. It's like, why me? Like, why me? Because I didn't ask for this. It just kind of showed up in my little whisper.
Wow.
But I now realize I am the perfect person. And this is why. I've self-taught myself. I call myself, you'll love this, a citizen scientist. I know more about this biology, metabolic health, nutritional health than almost any, or an equal amount as any PhD or MD. But my gift is to use that knowledge and interpret it in a way that allows people to understand it. I make little jokes. Yeah. I mean, I'll give you kind of my analogies. So I'm not trying to impress anyone. I use analogies and packaging and branding to help people understand what this will do for them.
You interpret it.
I interpret it. But for the longest time, because I wasn't planning on building a company. I just wanted to help my sister. That was it. And then I realized, well, I could help a few more people. That's why I started, teaching. And then when I realized the problem, what was in face. So my suggestion to anyone who's listening, who is open to hearing the voice that's in them, guiding them from a life that's okay, but not maybe rich, emotionally, spiritually rich, there's something for you, but you have to abandon all of the preconceived ideas, social barriers, expectations of your family, of your friends, what you thought your life was going to be. You have to give all of that up. I stopped reading newspapers. All I read now are nutrition books, listen to science podcasts, because my message is unique there, and so I don't want to hear what other people are doing or not doing. I just know my mission, and I wouldn't have found that if I'd let everybody else tell me what I should be doing, because it didn't make any sense to them at all. And I've come up with a great analogy, if you'll let me share this, Amy. When you are coming up with something new, whether it's a business or a new life for yourself, Sometimes I had a flash of what I was going to do. Literally, I downloaded it from the universe in an instant. And so I've known from the very beginning what I was building and what I needed to do. And it was like buying a puzzle box. And when you buy the puzzle, you've seen the picture on the box. So you know what you're building, right? But then when you take the box with all the pieces and you dump it on a table, and it's a big mashup of, unconnected puzzle pieces, and you ask people to come and join you or help you, they look at you like you're crazy. It's like, that's a bunch of mess. I'm not going to come do that. So you have to decide you're going to start on your own, putting the pieces together. And you put the pieces together and you put the pieces together. It could take months, it could take years, in my case, 13 years. But when you finally start putting the pieces together and other people can see the vision that you had from the beginning, because you were the one that saw the puzzle box lid, they will automatically come to join you and support you and want to be part of what you're doing. And that's when the magic happens, because now you don't even have to ask. They automatically are drawn to you. And that's the difference between just doing what society thinks you should be doing and being driven by your own personal quiet voice, your purpose in life, that only reveals itself to you if you're open to it. And as I said, I only kept going every single day, never knowing, really how I was going to do this, but I refused to give up, because I just was so confident in my purpose. And I will say I'm probably a little more over the top, passionate, big person, make a change in the world than most people, but it can be as very, very simple. I just happen to be that kind of go big or go home kind of gal. And so I'm not saying everyone has to do that, but my obstacles were so clear, but I just refused to see them.
It's just so brilliantly said. Thank you for sharing that. And I think that's so critical, because so often we look at quote unquote successful people, or the people that now after 13 years, and think, oh, wow. But we have no idea of the intense struggle. Your face was bleeding. You were so stressed. I mean, the daily grind, the nights of just pulling your hair out and up all night and worried about 21st. When you have your own business with a passion and you're driven and no one's seeing the puzzle put together but you, it's like no one's seeing the midnight oil being burnt night after night after night. And like you, with no kids and not attached romantically, all your energy and creativity and passion is going into this baby, this project. This is your offering to the world. And I can empathize with that driven nature. You shared so much important stuff there, Catharine, and I'm going to emphasize for the audience as well that you, even on a large scale, got the no's and the disses, because you were on Shark Tank. And tell us about your Shark Tank experience, because even despite that, which, however you want to describe what happened, you still persevere. I still remember what you said to that guy, Kevin, whatever his last name is.
Yeah.
Because of course I watched you. I was like, that's Catharine, my
He said, when are you gonna stop? I said, I'm never gonna stop. I never swear, but I swore on camera. I said, I'm fucking unstoppable.
Yeah. Because he's like, why aren't you giving up? And blah, blah, blah. And you were just like, it's not gonna happen. Like, I'm not gonna stop. And I was like, yeah, you go. Okay, so just for the audience sake, can you briefly just share what, if you're okay with it, tell us the inside scoop up on what it was like with Shark Tank and what you learned from it. And did it was it one of those that made you stronger, because what happened?
Yeah. Well, I'm not someone, the other trouble I've had is that I've never been anyone who seeks attention. Honestly, yep. I'm the middle child of two sisters. Yeah, you're very low-key. I've spent my entire life very comfortably invisible, but you can't build a big company and be invisible. So when I was going to conferences and stuff and I meet people, they say, oh, you should be on Shark Tank. Oh, you should be. I had never sought that kind of attention, but just like a mother with her child will do anything for her child. I thought, well, maybe I'm being dismissive because I need to help my company. So I thought, okay,
Yeah.
I'll apply. But I didn't want their money. I just thought would be fun to get on the show and get some visibility. So I had no inside connections, zero. I just went to their website. I filled out their form. The application process is a full-time job. The financials, the literature, the videos, the samples, you get interviewed every week by their producers, and you send more material, blah, blah, blah. And they only tell you 48 hours before the filming if you got selected or not. So they say it's harder to get on Shark Tank now than it is to get into the Harvard Business School.
I would imagine.
Apparently 40,000 companies apply every year, but I was thrilled to get selected. And so, but it's true, you don't have any interaction with the sharks until the moment you walk out in front of them.
Wow.
So getting on the show was fun. And I knew that they wouldn't get it because they're looking for stuff they can take to Costco or, sell right away. And I knew algae was going to be far too advanced for them. And they laughed at my valuation. And I told them to swallow with the tablets, not chew them, because I knew they wouldn't like the taste. Most people do swallow them. I chew mine. But anyways, they just made so much fun of me, but I didn't care. Because I didn't want their money and they didn't invest, but I got exactly what I wanted. I got on the show and, Amy, they've actually aired my segment. It was filmed 5 years ago. They're still airing it. I think they've aired my segment 50 times, which is amazing.
There you go.
We didn't actually get much in the way of increased sales. And here's why. The people that watch Shark Tank, everybody watches Shark Tank and everyone loves it. And I think it's fantastic. But most people who watch it are really armchair entrepreneurs, and they don't always go out and they're certainly not really nutrition buffs. So when I go on podcasts where there's an emphasis on nutrition or healing or longevity, we get a huge bump in sales, but we didn't really get any from Shark Tank, but it was still, people recognize me. I'm at the airport. I go to a clinic or something, like they still recognize me. I think it's my big black glasses.
Yeah, you have a very unique look.
So it was fun. It's part of my story. And I also won a contest run by the Entrepreneur magazine as being Entrepreneur of the Year. I won third prize, but it was the same contest and prize that Dennis Lubinsky won. He's the founder of Kind Bars. So I wrote him a letter saying, hey, I won the same prize you did. And he wrote me a letter back saying, congratulations. So there's been these little moments along the way that were fun because I won $15,000 from the Entrepreneur magazine. They flew me out to, Hollywood and all that sort of stuff. And so did Shark Tank, by the way. So, and now I'm actually preparing to do a TED Talk, and I'm getting ready to write a book. And so I've submitted my application for TED Talk. I haven't been selected yet, but there's going to be some other really big moments. We just got into Neiman Marcus, not all the stores, but some of them. And that was a big thing. I just came back from Hollywood, the Beverly Hills Neiman Marcus, where we were doing the launch there. So just getting that kind of credibility really makes me feel good that it was all worth it. And maybe finally it's going to get a little easier. But along the way, I've had to also teach myself how to be a leader. There's a difference between an entrepreneur and a leader. Entrepreneurs are often called solopreneurs because we have to do everything. I mean, I'm the chief scientific officer, chief creative officer, chief packaging officer. I did all the supply chain vendors, and I mean, it's crazy what you have to do. And then you can't do it all. So you start hiring people. I used to hire just interns because that's all I could afford. But unfortunately, they don't bring a lot to the table because they're so young and they can only do what you teach them. So recently I've started hiring more senior executives, thank God, because that's really helped move the needle, and we're going to be hiring even more. And so we're slowly becoming a real company, not just kind of like a small little scrappy startup. Because to make an impact on the world, the reality is I have to be big. And when I'm big, the good news is that will give me more leverage, more money to support other organizations, podcasters like you, who are doing other good things in the world that need support financially and need, because we all need something to believe in. Like you said at the very beginning, the world's is just being trashed, or the pharmaceutical industry, the food industry is all ganging up on people with, products that aren't natural, right? Yeah. And whenever, sometimes I get asked, well, what mentor have I had? Well, Mother Nature, quite honestly, is my mentor. And I invite anyone to look to Mother Nature to be your mentor too, because she will never let you down, which is also why I like algae. It will never let you down. It's like, it just works in the background. It's giving you, it's just very clean, honest, pure, supportive. I mean, just like a best friend would be. But that's Mother Nature. And so we've trashed her too. So, I sort of, every time I go for a walk, whenever I get stressed, I just go for a walk. It's so soothing. Hearing water, the trees rustling, just lie on the grass. We don't need much. I don't need entertainment. I've got too much on my plate as it is. And honestly, this is one of the situations, less is best. And it calms you down. It calms your parasympathetic system when you don't have to make so many choices. I think we're faced with too many choices. And so the brain, monkey brain, you're trying to juggle everything. And how do you hear that quiet voice, your soul, your spirit, when you've got all these other distractions from the external world trying to get your attention? Your spirit will never try to get your attention. It will wait. It will just wait. Sometimes it waits forever.
I like how you said it doesn't yell. Well, everything you just said, sister, you're speaking my language. It sounds like me on the show. I'm constantly saying those things because why? Well, it works. You are proof of your product. You're proof of your lifestyle. And I do my best to be as well. I sure have a long way to go. I'm certainly not perfect. I named the show Awakening Aphrodite to help bring her out in myself. And, but, at the end of the day, most people comment on my energy or how, I look or act younger than my chronological age, as do you, because these things work. They might not be sexy. They might not be fancy, but we can't fight 2.5 million years of evolution and the way our cells and DNA were designed to be. And it's just the way it is. Like it or not, you're not going to beat Mother Nature. There's no replacement. There's no pill for not sleeping well. There's no pill for, there's a reason why people are overeating and have energy crises and mood problems and emotional mental problems because we're overfed, but we're malnourished.
Yes.
There's a big difference between being overweight and overfed, eating too much. Like, why does your appetite not stop? Because your body is still craving and driving you to get the nutrition that it's not getting. And I love, like I said in the beginning, your product is a solution. Not only is it wonderful, Catherine, because it's not a supplement, as you say all the time. This is a food, folks. That's why Amy Fournier is on board. I'm on board. Food first. Food is the foundation, and it's a whole food. It's all the cofactors and antioxidants and minerals and trace minerals and things that we don't even understand are included. It's packaged perfectly, and you did all the heavy lifting for us. You put it together in a little capsule that you've said looks like a baby aspirin. It's about that size.
Yeah, we call them bits because they're bits of nutrition. Yeah,
bits. Yep. You can either swallow them or chew them, depending on your disposition. Yep, and your taste buds. But I love that. That's why I love what you're doing and what you're about, because you're living proof of it. And you are a solution for people, particularly people who don't like vegetables, like you said.
Yeah.
It's a powerhouse of nutrition.
Yeah.
So before we kind of just get into a little more detail on the products, I just don't want to lose the track where you were going there. And can you share with us, because your struggle, honestly, I will say your struggle was a lot harder than I even realized.
Yeah, I don't tell a lot of people because I'm not seeking sympathy.
Right.
I chose this path, or actually I tell people I didn't choose algae, it chose me, but I showed up for it. The path was, given to me, and I took that first step. So I for whatever reason, I'm just made this way. I don't feel I really even have a choice. I couldn't live with myself. I'm not
same way.
I just want, it's like watching someone hurt themselves. I see the world so much chronic illness. 60% of Americans adults have a chronic disease. And when you get over 65, it goes up to 80%. It just horrifies me. And sugar is as bad as cocaine. Honestly, there's not a single thing redeeming about sugar or processed foods. We're just a train wreck. And these big companies have manipulated flavorings to trick your taste buds into wanting more. And so you do, and you eat more, and your body's continues to look for the nutrition that's not there. By the way, people think they're getting a great deal when they go buy ginormous, vegetables, even like carrots or anything that's oversized. Well, they're oversized because they've been using glyphosate or they've crossbred them in GMO. Right. Farmers are paid on the weight of what they sell, not the nutrition. And so the reality is our soils are so overcropped that even if you eat organic, you just are not getting the nutrition you need. It's a losing battle. And so that's why algae is like, we're sitting in this boat with holes in it. We're sinking. And algae, because it's so nutrient dense and so effortless, can fill some of those holes for you and keep you afloat. It might even save your boat. But it's, I'll be doing this for a very long time. Fortunately, people are starting to listen to me because I just keep showing up. I laugh because I've been going to conferences, wellness conferences and keto conferences. It doesn't matter what it is. And I just keep showing up. And I think people have gotten the idea that this girl's just not going to give up. So let's maybe take a look at what she's got. So
well, endurance is a key factor to a lot of people that, they quit right before the breakthrough.
Yeah.
And there's no question you have to have endurance, and you are certainly a great role model for that. So on that note, Catherine, how is algae different than seaweed?
Yes. Well, algae is a food category.
Okay.
So there's two main types of algae. One is called macroalgae and one is called microalgae. Macroalgae is that big stringy stuff that washes up on shore, also known as seaweed, but it's only in the sea, which is why it's called seaweed. And it's good for you because it has high fiber and iodine because it's from the sea, but it has virtually zero nutrition. I used to buy big bags of kelp noodles, and you can buy them at Whole Foods instead of pasta or something. But you'll notice there's like 5 calories in an entire bag because there's no nutrition. But it's still good for you. Microalgae is what I'm talking about. And it's called microalgae because it's microscopic in size. Something like 1 million microalgae could fit on the head of a pin. That's how tiny it is. This is why you get such concentrated nutrition when you consolidate something so small into these little tablets that are about the size of a baby aspirin. That's where you get that 1,000 to 1 concentration. But microalgae is everywhere. Remember, macroalgae is only in the sea. Microalgae is everywhere. The sea, the rivers, the lakes, the streams, the soil, your aquarium, your swimming pool, it's everywhere. But algae is in wild environments is toxic because it absorbs whatever's in the water. Some people know about toxic algae blooms because it closes their favorite beach. But what I need people to understand is it's not algae that's toxic. Algae kills bacteria. And so it will show up wherever there is already bacteria or toxins, and then it will absorb them. That's where you get a toxic algae bloom because it's pulling out the toxins that are already in the water. That's why you never want algae that's grown in a lake or the ocean, because it's impossible to control the environment. We grow ours in triple filtered spring mountain water in Taiwan, and we do special testing. We're the only ones that do third-party lab testing, but there's a special test for microtoxins, and we never have any because we don't grow our algae wild. So algae, it kills bacteria in your body too, just like it kills bacteria on the beach or in your aquarium. And in fact, people wouldn't know this, but algae is used in virtually every water treatment plant in North America. For that reason, they filter the water through algae ponds because it kills bacteria. That's why sometimes when you run your tap, if you leave water on a plate or something, you'll see a very slight little green circle as the
like
water,
a film, like
a film as the water evaporates, and it's it's a little residue of algae. Isn't that funny, right?
Yeah, I did not know that. Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. So that's the difference. So macroalgae, just to summarize, is very stringy, virtually no nutrition, lots of fiber. Microalgae has virtually no fiber and concentrated nutrition and is everywhere. In fact, spirulina, which we'll talk about in a minute, is not even a plant. It is a bacteria. It's called a cyanobacteria. It has no cellulose wall and no nucleus. But that's important because it means it gets absorbed into your body very quickly because there's nothing for your body to break down. Chlorella, on the other hand, is a plant, and it has a very hard cell wall with fiber that attaches to toxins, lead, mercury, radiation, aluminum, lactic acid, alcohol, and pulls them out. So it's a detoxing algae, a wellness and detoxing algae.
So spirulina is a bacteria, not a plant, and
Correct.
Chlorella is a plant, not a
Correct.
bacteria. They're the
Correct.
opposites.
No, you got it right. Spirulina
Okay,
is it's called a cyanobacteria.
Okay.
And a cyanobacteria was the first life on Earth 4 billion years ago. So spirulina was the first life on Earth, and Chlorella developed 1 billion years later as a part of the plant kingdom.
Okay, now your facility, how you procure these for us, is in Taiwan, and then
Yes.
you tell us about that. Like, basically you took all the heavy lifting out for us, because people can go to your website if they're interested in getting these algae tabs. They can also go to my store, use my link, use my code to save some money, and tell us about what they're going to find there and how they know, okay, I'm buying it, Catherine and Amy. I'm supposed to eat algae. I don't eat, because now it's recommended by the top holistic functional nutritionists that we should eat at least like 3 big plates of vegetables a day. Most people, for antioxidants.
Who has time for that?
Exactly.
You got to grocery shop, and you got to clean them, you got to cook them, you got to eat them, and they go bad, and people, kids get up. Kids don't want to eat them. So
and you got to do it all yourself, because you're not going to find that in your local 7-Eleven. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So, okay. So they're like, all right, I'm going to get myself some algae. They're going to go to either Amy's link at amyfournier.com e-store under ENERGYbits, or they're going to go directly to yours either. Or they go to your website directly. And what are they going to find there? How do they navigate? How do they choose? Help us out.
Yes. So spirulina is, as I said, a blue-green algae, and we actually have 2 brands of spirulina, so you want to know what you're buying. One is called ENERGYbits, and the other one is called ENERGYbits. Now, the reason why there's 2, and I'm not trying to trick anybody, is because, remember, I started the company because of my sister. So when I first came up with ENERGYbits, and we called it ENERGYbits because spirulina is energizing. It energizes your brain, it energizes your body, it energizes your mitochondria, your cells, and it's not a stimulant kind of energy. You might not even notice it, because I call it quiet energy. Man, you have a bag that's like 7 years old.
I know, because I didn't buy any new ones, so I've been like hoarding them.
So ENERGYbits was because it's nourishment, it's energy from nourishment, not from a stimulant. There's no caffeine, chemicals, or sugar. So it's no big rush or crash. But anyways, I found out that women didn't like the packaging or the name. And because I started the company because of my sister, and because it has more collagen than collagen powder, and antioxidants that stop breakouts in your skin and helps grow your skin and your hair, I thought, okay. And my girlfriends literally said, you've got to give it a cute name and package it in pink if you want women to buy it. So I made a second brand and called it ENERGYbits for that reason. So there's actually, someone said, oh, you got a girl spirulina and a boy spirulina. So that's kind of it, but they're both spirulina. I'm not trying to trick anybody. If you're looking for something that's going to nourish you, it's great for intermittent fasting. There's 0 carbs. It doesn't interfere with your fast. It's ketogenic. 1 calorie, you could have 20 for lunch, and for 20 calories, pretty sweet, right? And you also get all the protein that you need. You can have, there's no upper limit. You can have as many as you like. If you like the flavor, chew them. Most people swallow them, but I chew mine.
I chew mine normally.
Yeah, and anytime you're fatigued, like I had a handful before the podcast because I've had a very busy day, so it works. You'll feel more alert in half an hour, and it's not from caffeine, chemicals, or sugar. And for 1 calorie, you can't beat it. So that's spirulina, ENERGYbits, and Beauty Bits are the 2 brands. The
Yeah.
other algae is chlorella.
My favorite.
It has, it's my favorite too, actually. And it will not give you energy or satisfy your hunger, but it's still very powerful because it has the highest chlorophyll in the world. Chlorophyll is very cleansing, very alkalining. It has fiber in it. It is a plant, so the hard cell wall pulls out toxins, lead, mercury, radiation, aluminum, alcohol. There's basically 2 reasons why people are getting sick as they get older or at any age, quite honestly. One is they don't have the nutrition that their body requires to have optimal health. And the second reason is we have too many toxins in our bodies. I read recently the average adult in America has 700 toxins in them. Oh. And those toxins interfere with your cellular biology. So you've got to get rid of them. And doing a cleanse once a year just isn't enough. Taking chlorella every day is like giving your body a shower from the inside. And because your body goes through a detox repair cycle when you sleep, we generally recommend chlorella before bed. You can take it any time of day, but definitely before bed. And we call ours recovery bits because it helps you recover your health, or recover after sports because it pulls out lactic acid, or recover from drinking. You'll be sober in an hour and a half. Honestly, it's unbelievable what this stuff does. So it's very, very cleansing, and it has very high glutathione, which is an antioxidant that also pulls out toxins and helps restore your livers, which is kind of like your water treatment plant. So it's very powerful. So
I actually like the taste.
Yeah, I love it.
But I like vegetables. So, I mean, I guess it's a personal thing, you know.
It tastes delicious with chlorella, with macadamia nuts, or my favorite is with salt. I've got a flavor of pistachio nuts. I've been taking their salt and vinegar, and oh my God, they're delicious. So
okay, next time I see you, we're gonna have a little party.
Yeah. And then we have another brand called Vitality Bits. If you don't want to buy them separately, it's a brand that has the 2 of them blended together, so it just simplifies life for people. So those are the 4 brands, and we have them in large bags of 1,000 tablets. By the way, I use this quote from.
And you got these little tins, good for travel, because I have one in my purse all the time.
So the tins come inside our little canisters. We have these canisters that come.
That's a cool little contraption. It
comes with a bag inside it. You open the bag, and then you just shake out the tablets through the little opening. And when you run out of tablets, you just buy a bag to refill. You only buy a canister once, and then it's refillable. But everything's sustainable. And then we also have them in little pouches that are pre-measured that are terrific for traveling and stuff.
Girl, I never leave home without them.
Yeah. So I've done my best to give people options for large amounts, small amounts. You try them out in little packages or a sample pack. But honestly, you'll notice the difference. The one way I speak at a lot of conferences now that are often held at hotels, and so I came up with an analogy that people seem to like. So I said spirulina because it's so nourishing. Again, it's ENERGYbits or Beauty Bits. It's so nourishing. It's sort of like room service. It gives you all the nourishment you need for the day. And think of chlorella, which we call recovery bits, because it's so cleansing. It's like housekeeping. It cleans out the junk in your trunk.
The night turn down service where you're supposed to recover and rejuvenate.
That's right. So
I love it.
Room service, housekeeping. Ta-da.
I love it. And I'm going to add too, because right now I'm like munching on them while you're sharing with us. My puppies just came running over because they know what it sounds like when I open the bag or the tin. They particularly know the shake of the tin.
Yeah.
And they came just running over, and they're at my feet right now in my studio, and they're looking up at me going, where's mine? And I always give them a couple too.
Cats
and
like
dogs, you said, they're safe
absolutely
for kids.
Love them. And honestly, the pets are the smartest. They know what's good for them, and they're great for children. We've had mothers email us almost crying in their email saying, thank God for you, because I've had fights with my children at dinner time every night trying to get them to eat vegetables, and they just won't eat them. Now They just give them a couple of tablets every day. Problem solved. The kids love them.
And they're smaller than vitamin pills. Like, you know,
Yes,
like
they
because
can,
my
and they
niece
chew
can't
them.
swallow pills, but these are tiny.
Yeah. And for children, we recommend one or half of one for their age. So if they're 4, give them maybe 2 to 4.
Okay.
If they're 10, give them maybe 5 tablets a day until they're an adult. And, 30, if you're an athlete and you want performance, you really need 30 to feel some performance. But the average person, 10 a day. So if the large
Oh, at
bags
least.
have 1,000 tablets, and
Yeah.
that's 3 months supply.
Yeah.
The small canisters have a small bag in them with 360 tablets. That's a month supply, and then you replenish with the large bags.
And I'll add too that if I'm not feeling well or I'm traveling, I take extra Chlorella.
Yes. Yes.
For the detox and all that to help my immune system. So, or
Well,
from around people who are sick,
yeah.
I'll pop extra.
And that's a good point, because if you have a condition of any kind, heart condition, diabetes, cancer, we generally recommend 2 to 3 times that amount a day until you get a clear diagnosis. And if you are getting chemotherapy, the Chlorella, which again we call ENERGYbits, will pull out the excess radiation so you're not as nauseous. It works every time. So it's really, really great. And we would
Heavy
recommend
metals.
we would recommend you take the spirulina as well, because when you are getting chemo, it's very exhausting. By the way, the blue pigment, remember, I don't know if I mentioned, but spirulina is a blue-green algae. It has 2 pigments in it. The blue one, which is called phycocyanin, and I'm going to spell that for you because I want people to be able to go online and look into this. Phycocyanin is spelled PHYCOCYANIN. I'm sorry, it's such a long word, but phycocyanin. So the reason why I want you to know about this, and you can Google phycocyanin and cancer treatments, is because the pharmaceutical industry has discovered that phycocyanin kills cancer cells. Ta-da! Here's a picture of there was a scientific paper I took. They dyed the cancer cells blue. This is a 24-hour time lapse. So they started here, put some phycocyanin in the petri dish, and after 24 hours, the cancer cells were virtually gone. Gone. You don't need to
24 hours.
In 24 hours. Now, what's interesting is one of our ENERGYbits spirulina tablets has 4,000 times more phycocyanin than was used in this experiment to kill cancer cells.
Oh my God, I'm going to go eat some more right now.
Crazy, right? So
Wow.
while you're having some spirulina ENERGYbits or BeautyBits spirulina to, help with your hunger in the morning, or get out for the day, or go for your run, you are killing cancer cells. How amazing is that? And so I want you to spell, again, phycocyanin, PHYCOCYANIN. Just Google phycocyanin cancer treatments, and you'll see that I'm telling you the truth, right?
Oh,
So
you're telling us the truth about everything, my friend.
But see, this is why I have been so compelled to continue doing these sorts of things, because this kind of science, and there's another nutrient in spirulina called, another mouthful, sorry, they're so long, superoxide dismutase. It's an enzyme and also an antioxidant that protects your mitochondria from damage. Now, your body normally makes superoxide dismutase, but only until the age of 30, and then it stops. And that's when you start running into chronic disease, because your mitochondria aren't being protected anymore from this particular enzyme that can stop free radical damage. Spirulina has the highest superoxide dismutase in the world. And there's 25,000 scientific papers proving that superoxide dismutase will stop heart disease, stops inflammation, protects your telomeres, removes amyloid plaques in your brain. I mean, the stuff that superoxide dismutase does is amazing, but it's not found in any other food, just like that blue pigment is. They're only in algae, especially spirulina. So this is why you can't just say, well, I'll eat myself to health, because there are nutrients not available in any other food. They've just been given to us by Mother Nature in these 2 particular algae. And Chlorella algae also has its own special kicker. It has the highest chlorophyll in the world. And I'm going to show you something. I know people who are listening won't be able to see this, but you could go online. The chemical composition of your blood, called hemoglobin, is identical to the chemical composition of chlorophyll. Chlorophyll builds your blood, but the problem is our food supply and our vegetables are so damaged. There's hardly any chlorophyll in our vegetables anymore. Have you noticed that your arugula will go yellow after about like day 2 or 3?
Yeah.
That's because there's virtually no chlorophyll anymore.
And they don't taste as good. So the nutrition, the taste is usually an indicator of the nutrient density.
Yes.
Because if you have, excuse me, but if you have vegetables from a farm or out, somewhere rural, they taste better. There's so much more flavor. And that's because it's indicative of the nutrition quality.
Yeah. And the darkness indicates more phytonutrients. That's why when people go to Europe, they always comment on how fabulous the food is. Well, part of it's because they focus more on local farms than we do. So,
and kids don't like vegetables because they don't taste like anything, and they're right. They don't.
They are right.
And that's also why we have to add a bunch of crap and sauce and MSG and salt and sugar and whatever to get people to eat them because they don't taste like anything. But that's not the way Mother Nature intended.
No.
Catherine, this has been absolutely phenomenal. I think you have really gifted us with so much valuable, practical, critical knowledge and information. You've done the heavy lifting. I'm so grateful for your tireless effort to help bring algae to the world, to help nourish us, and in such a convenient way. Is there anything else that you feel like people really need to know to help them kind of just really go there and try it out?
Well, again, the come to our website, ENERGYbits.com, and we have a 20% discount code, Amy F. But I just want to remind people that, years ago, maybe 10 years ago, you didn't know about chia seed or matcha or quinoa or collagen powder until someone told you about it. But those were all things that have been, mushrooms have been used and indigenously for thousands of years in other countries. Algae may be new to you, but I promise you it's not new. And I've tried my very best to package it in a way so it looks normal for you. Yeah. There is nothing in the world that will change and rock your life and your health and your family's health like algae. It will also rock the world because it's so sustainable and eco-friendly. So I just invite people to go online, either come to visit us at our own website or just Google and learn about it, because it's time that algae gets used and understood, because we are desperate for the nutrition. We cannot sustain the kind of sickness that's in our society right now, and drugs and the traditional medical community is very narrow-minded in their approach. And I invite you to look at the more natural ways that are always available from nature. And that's algae, because we're from nature too. So it's like a homecoming.
Well, my audience is on board with that, or they wouldn't be subscribing. So you're speaking our language. So no need to convince us, but that's something that we're learning more and more. People think of the cavemen and women as like these, the Neanderthal. And it's like, well, you know what? They had a lot more right than we did. These ancient cultures, they gave birth in the middle of a forest, like with no problems, and like they were healthier. And even profiles have been done of the hunter-gatherers, and their nutrition profile blew ours out of the water with our food pyramid guide. It's like they had it all over us in many regards. So we have to give props. And like we said in the beginning of the show, we evolved from the ocean, and algae is the component of DNA. So, we're getting back to nourishing our bodies like from the cellular level. This is why it's so important. And and again, thank you for doing the heavy lifting. I mean, it's not like, okay, I got to go to Asia to resource my nutrition. No, Catherine brought it here for us, and we little couple of clicks of the keys and you can get it, try it out. And you know what? Just be your own experiment. See if it works for you.
Just experiment. You might need less, you might need more, but again, it's food. So
thank you.
Give yourself the gift that Mother Nature has provided for us, and you be the judge.
There you go. I love it. Catharine Arnston, thank you so much. ENERGYbits, everybody, you know what to do. As we've mentioned, use my code AmyF. It's not case sensitive. You can go to Catherine's site directly, ENERGYbits.com. That's in the show notes, or through my website store. Thank you for using my code if you do, because not only do you save 20%, but it helps support me in the show, which I love bringing it to you. And please share the show with somebody you think might benefit from it. Catharine, thank you so much for being on Awakening Aphrodite. It's been amazing to reconnect with you, my friend.
Oh, super, Amy. I'm so glad to see you again.
And keep fighting the good fight, sister.
Yes,
We're behind you.
You too.
We're powered by bits, everybody.
Yes, that's
bits
right.
up, bits up.
Yeah, it's like Intel, bits inside.
There you go. All right, everybody, over and out. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Would you like to support my mission to help empower people all over the world to be all of who they truly are? If so, please subscribe to the show, leave a review on iTunes, and share it with a friend. And if you're looking to take immediate action to align your energy and optimize your health, visit amyfournier.com. Thanks for listening to Awakening Aphrodite. Let's awaken her together in you. I'm your hostess, Amy Fournier, and I already can't wait to be with you again and for you to hear what I have planned for the next show.
Thanks for listening to Awakening Aphrodite with Amy Fournier. To learn more about Amy, check out her website, amyfournier.com. That's AMYFOURNIER.com. You can also check out Amy's live and on-demand virtual fitness and yoga classes, and sign up for her newsletter to receive a free mini ebook of 3 of her top tips for making holistic health a lifestyle. Again, that's amyfournier.com, and get your ebook sent to your email immediately. Connect with Amy on the daily on Instagram at FitAmyTV, FITAMYTV, and watch many of the podcast episodes and subtopic clips on her YouTube channel, which is also FitAmyTV. Enjoy, and we'll see you next time on Awakening Aphrodite.